My first memory probably came through my granddad. He was a massive Arsenal fan. I should say he still is a massive Arsenal fan. And he would collect all the matchday programmes from way back when, way before I was born, and he'd take them home. He's still got them in like a million boxes up in the attic. The second one, I guess, was like just being in the playground with my mates and having to pick a team. First started sort of watching them on TV was kind of like when Henry, we still had like, before that, like Ian Wright as well, like the back end of that era. And I was probably about 7, 8 years old. And then I really started getting into it, obviously, when we became like the Invincibles and those amazing runs. And once you become a fan and your families are fans as well, you meet people going to like the stadium, you end up seeing like the same people every weekend if you go regularly, or even if you're not making it to games, like if you're going down the pub with your mates, or if you're going down the pub with like your parents or your granddad, like it's the same people watching the games. You're like, hey, how you doing? It's like a little community, do you know what I mean? It's about being part of a big family. I think football and music for me are quite similar in that aspect. Like I meet a lot of people that I just wouldn't otherwise, and there's like a shared love for something. The walk to the stadium, like that's my favourite bit, and it always has been. And then I do remember the first time coming up the stairs and like it opening up and you seeing the pitch. Like I think that's such a magical moment, especially when you're a kid, because you watch it on TV, but you can't quite grasp like how amazing it is until you're like there and you're sitting with everyone. I think if we're going to talk the guys' team, like Emile Smile Rowe, I think it encapsulates that perfectly. Coming through the academy, it makes it more special because he has had to work so hard to get into the team. And then once he scores and stuff, you can just see how much it means to him, how much it means for him to like wear the shirt. And in terms of the women's side, like Lotte, I mean, she grew up a Gooner, so when she scored that header against Man United, it was just like, ah, and you could like see it in her face, you know what I mean? I think going back to what I said earlier about seeing the Invincibles play and how they wore the shirt, like those two encapsulate it for me nowadays, definitely. You can see how much it means to them. And again, like I said, as a fan, that's all you want to see. I'll often wear Arsenal shirts when I'm DJing. I remember one show, I was playing a festival and it was like a fancy dress festival, and 5 guys turned up to my set, all of them dressed as David Seaman, and then whipped out 2 little goals and just started playing like a mini match. I was playing a massive festival in Liverpool, and the photographer that was photographing my stage, I knew, also a massive Gooner. And I think it was like the derby, North London derby. And we were like, my set is exactly 90 minutes during the game. I was like, what are we gonna do? And I started my set. And just as I started, he took his phone and he put it just behind the decks and he was streaming the game. I had like 8,000 people playing to, but little did they know I was like DJing and also watching the game at the same time. So yeah, I know this shirt is obviously based on the 71 season. I was lucky enough to meet Charlie George. I got a photo with him and I put it up, and my cousin messaged me. He was like, oh, Grandad would be proper jealous of that, which I think he was, to be fair.